Very good afternoon, everyone. This is Lara Abdelrazik, teaching assistant at Faculty of Economics and Political Science, Future University in Egypt. So my paper title is basically utilizing emotional intelligence in teaching to foster economic integration through the application of economic simulation models in higher education institutions. So emotional intelligence, as we all know, is a vital strategy that should be emphasized in both public and private higher education institutions, as it involves emotions as valuable sources of information that support effective interaction within the social context. EI encompasses the ability to the ability to control your emotions as well as to interact, while simulation models significantly influence both students as well as policymakers and academic advisors. However, their current use is largely centered on improving students' knowledge, skills, and overall character development. This paper argues that the relationship between economic simulation models developed by academic advisors in public and private universities as tools of emotional intelligence and their role in promoting economic integration. So for many researchers and the public in general, the concept of emotional intelligence over the past years was basically related and limited to intelligence quotient, which was considered as a type of intelligence in educational achievements, situations which enhance the human ability to plan, strategic thinking, balancing of choices, as well as taking their own decisions. However, Gulliman defined emotional intelligence as a group of skills and competencies which enable the individuals from identifying their and other feelings to motivate them as well and themselves and manage their relationship effectively. So, as for the part of the literature review, the concept of emotional intelligence was formally defined early 1990s as the ability to monitor one's own and others' emotions to guide thinking and actions. They actually considered EI as a subset of social intelligence, which involves understanding and managing people. Gulliman later popularized the concept by taking a broader approach, arguing that cognitive intelligence, while emotional intelligence can be developed over time, however, cognitive intelligence is innate. EI includes skills like self-control, motivation, empathy, and conflict management, which are essential for both children and adults as well. So, however, moving towards the literature review behind the simulation models in this paper is basically related more to the idea of game-based learning and simulations because it has become a significant tool in higher education to prepare students for the real-world tasks. Companies now focus on both skill development and promotive innovative thinking. Gamifications introduced in 2010 enhances engagement, motivation, and learning outcomes by using game elements in non-game contexts, especially at the university level. So simulations allow students to make mistakes and learn in a risk-free environment. However, not all responses are positive. Some learners show lower knowledge retention when games are used solely for assessment. The effectiveness of gamifications depend on a balanced, well-designed, and approach involving multiple components to support diverse learners. So, as for the research methodology, the article explores the relationship between emotional intelligence and the use of economic simulation models and gamifications in public and private universities. The goal is basically to assess how these tools influence students' critical thinking and their readiness for the workforce. A qualitative approach was used to examine both positive and negative impacts through structured interviews with academic advisors of simulation models in universities, founders and co-founders involved in gamifications initiatives, employees at the Youth Leaders Foundation. It's basically a foundation in Egypt which is mainly responsible of the students' activities at both public and private universities. This approach aims to provide an in-depth understanding of how simulations and gamifications relate to emotional intelligence in educational settings. So, as for the conclusion part, emotional intelligence and simulation-based education are essential in preparing undergraduates for professional careers and for the workforce opportunities and for the real practical life. Simulation activities enhance students' emotional, interpersonal, and leadership skills, promoting smoother transitions into the workforce through engaging them in these hands-on experiences. Students strengthen teamwork, collaboration, and decision-making abilities. So despite their benefits, the findings from those interviews has shown that several challenges limit the effective application of simulation in universities. So the first point was basically related to the lack of team cohesion among students, administrative and logistics issues between student groups and university authorities, insufficient institutional support with simulations often treated as extra activities rather than an integral to education. And to overcome these challenges, universities should actually integrate simulation models into formal curriculum, support academic advisors, optimize resource usage, evaluation, and monitoring systems. So, and by the end of this presentation, I would like to show you all a real-life example at the Future University in Egypt. I was basically a co-founder for an extra activity, a simulation model called BRICS model. This model is basically related to the economy because it's basically like showing the real life of BRICS and what is happening between the countries in order to eliminate economic risks. So I am the co-founder for the first BRICS simulation model in both public and private universities in Egypt. It is basically a simulation model at future universities, especially Faculty of Economics and Political Science. The main aim behind this model was to prepare students for the real practical world through advanced internships and trainings by experts from Ministry of Youth and Sports because we were able to collaborate with them, as well as Ministry of Planning and Economic Development. And we as a team, we actually opened the door for students to volunteer at several ministries related to the economy. We organized a workshop named Mastering Research Papers. Some of our students were able to volunteer already at ministries, as well as after volunteering, they were chosen to work with them as employees. Extensive training for 1 week at the Center for Building Cadre in Egypt. And we also collaborated with the Youth Leaders Foundation in Egypt to support us funding process. BRICS members as well attended the Arab Week for Sustainable Development organized by the League of Arab States in Egypt. Also, I was able to send students to attend the sessions to be facilitators and to attend the Information and Decisions Center in Egypt. Several sessions related to the TOT trainings. BRICS simulation models also members attended the sessions of the World Urban Forum. Our last achievement was basically as well at Faculty of Economics and Political Science at Future University in Egypt. It was our BRICS model succeeded to communicate with the Minister of Youth and Sports because they were our main sponsor and main collaboration with them. And under their patronage, we were able to find out solutions related to economy and to collaborate with Ministry of Planning and Economic Development through the public policy papers organized by the students themselves. And of course, this event and all of these achievements were conducted under the leadership of our university president, Professor Dr. Abada Sarhan, in order to apply this simulation model and to become come under the patronage of Ministry of Youth and Sports and Ministry of Economic Planning. So thank you so much. I'm just hearing your questions and anything. Thank you.